fields in every CV can turn a quick AI screen into a privacy problem. Name, email, phone, address, and profile links. If your small team is losing 2 hours a day opening resumes in Gmail, but cannot justify an ATS or trust a chatbot with applicant identities, this is the safer path. I'll show you the pipeline that removes those fields locally, scores only job evidence, and sends a reviewer a structured brief. Most demos let AI rank and reject people with full CV access. By the end, you'll have an approval-gated blueprint. I'm Lazar. I build these systems daily for clients. Start with a boundary. The first mistake is treating CV screening as a rejection automation problem. It is not. It is an information routing problem. A hiring manager should decide whether a candidate moves forward. The system should remove repetitive reading, pull out relevant evidence, and make uncertainty visible. That matters when a founder has 30 applications sitting in Gmail, a recruiter is copying details into a spreadsheet, and candidate follow-up slows down because the team cannot get through the first pass. Hiring another coordinator is expensive and slow. Uploading every resume to a generic AI tool can create a different problem. Applicant data is now sitting in a system your team does not control, and nobody can explain why someone was filtered out. Here is exactly how I build the safer version. I start with a dedicated Gmail label, something like hiring/new, not a shared inbox free-for-all. The workflow gets read-only access to that label and downloads only the attachment and the email ID. It does not send messages, move candidates, or change labels yet. Each file gets a random candidate ID and a cryptographic file hash. The candidate ID is what travels through the workflow. The original file stays in a restricted local folder with permissions that only the hiring owner can access. On my local WSL server, the next process extracts text from PDF and DOCX files. For a PDF, use a text extractor first and OCR only when the document is scanned. Then normalize whitespace, remove repeated headers, and preserve page markers so evidence can be traced back later. Before any AI model sees the text, run a local sanitization pass. Replace the name, email addresses, phone numbers, street addresses, and social profile links with tokens. I also remove document metadata, images, and embedded hyperlinks because a profile photo, an author field, or a LinkedIn URL can defeat an otherwise clean redaction. Do not trust one regex and call that private. Email and phone patterns are straightforward, but names can appear in a file name, a cover letter closing, a portfolio URL, or a reference section. So the workflow creates a redaction report beside the cleaned text. It records which fields were found, which substitutions were made, and whether the extraction had low confidence. If the report finds an unrecognized email-like string, an image-only PDF, or suspicious leftover contact details, route that CV to a manual privacy check. It does not enter AI scoring. A safe workflow must be allowed to stop. Next, define the job rubric as data, not as a vague paragraph in a prompt. I use a small JSON file for every role. It contains required skills, preferred skills, minimum relevant experience, work authorization questions that your legal policy permits you to ask, and the exact knockout questions requiring human confirmation. Avoid criteria such as culture fit, personality, age signals, school prestige, or anything based on protected characteristics. The agent should look for evidence, not infer qualities about a person. For example, a rubric can require 2 years working with a specific accounting platform, experience handling invoice exceptions, and written English for customer-facing support. The important part is that each criterion includes the evidence the reviewer needs to see. Instead of asking the model, "Is this candidate good?" ask, "Return evidence for each rubric item," or explicitly say, "No evidence found." That wording changes the output from a black box score into something a anonymized CV text and that rubric to the model. You can use a local model if your privacy requirements demand it, or an approved external model because the identifying data has already been removed. The model has one job: return fixed JSON. The response includes matched criteria, direct evidence quotes with page references, missing or ambiguous evidence, unanswered questions, a confidence level, and a recommended review lane. The lanes are not reject or hire. They are review first, standard review, and needs clarification. The prompt must say that the system cannot make an employment decision, cannot infer protected characteristics, and cannot treat missing information as a negative fact. Then validate the return JSON in code. If manual CV review is blocking your hiring team, see examples of what we ship for clients at bizflowai.io. Hit subscribe and ring the bell so you catch the next AI automation breakdown, where we build another approval-safe workflow. If you have a process you want automated around your existing tools, book a free 30-minute discovery call at bizflowai.io.